morning, guys. Today is our last day in Bonaire, sadly, but we're going to try to make the most of it, and we have a full day of adventure waiting for us.
Dan and Kika had no idea they were about to try the most delicious pancakes ever made in Bonaire. In a world before fish and chips and vinegar, there was just salt. The harvesting of salt has been a major industry on Bonaire for over 350 years. The salt of Bonaire is a natural product of seawater, sunshine, and wind. Seawater is pumped into condenser ponds to sit until full saturation is reached. The brine is then pumped into crystallizers where it remains under constant evaporation until crystallized to the point that it can be harvested. Each pond is harvested about once a year. The crystals are washed, then dried for several months. Finally, at 2,000 tons an hour, it is loaded by conveyor belt into ships. It was a laborious task first done by slaves. Now the slaves are long since gone, but their homes remain. Dan and Kika were about to visit one of these tiny homes, which may have been the initial precursor to the tiny home movement so popular today.
Oh, that's a short door. Oh, I can barely stand up in here.
So we are inside of one of those slave huts.
Yeah, this is where apparently the slaves would come down from Rincon, which is in the north, to work in the salt fields all week. And they would just kind of come here and sleep and then go back to work, loading the ship, loading salt from the salt pans onto the ships anchored offshore.
Yeah.
And then on the weekends they'd walk all the way back up to Rincon, which is like 30 kilometers or something like that.
But that was 200 years ago, and they kept all the houses maintained because it's basically a very cultural aspect of Bonaire.
It's a monument now, basically. And these are, they're pretty well maintained. They're painted. Really thick walls. It's actually quite cool in here, even though it's the middle of the day in the summer.
Yeah.
They're maybe 6 feet by 8 feet. They're like a jail cell with a pointy roof and a tiny door. Yeah.
Last night in Bonaire, and we're gonna go
Last adventure
caving.
in Bonaire.
Last big adventure.
This guy's taking us caving.
Yes!
Part of the adventure of sailing around to unknown destinations is being led by people you don't really know. Like, who is this man Alejandro, the man with a man bun? Can he be trusted as he leads them into the underground? We shall soon see where Dan and Kika end up.
Bye. Nice knowing you.
This is actually the imprint of the inside of a brain coral. So these tubes are the other side of the worms.
Interesting. That's cool.
You see, so it's
like the negative.
It's the negative,
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, there is really a few places where you can actually see the imprint of the coral. And this is why I think this one is particularly special. And there is like a project on the island that I am part of, where we are mapping the caves and getting all the data together and exploring a little bit of the caves that we find. There's more than 300 caves on Bonaire, but there's very few work done on them.
Interesting. Do you guys go through with like the laser mapping 3D things?
Not
or
really laser.
Like
we started with simple sketches.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and some of the caves have been mapped like in different levels. There are underwater caves as well that you have to actually dive and research. That's amazing. There is like fish, for example, inside the wet caves that have no eyes.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Because they've lived there for a million years.
Because it's dark, they don't need the eyes. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. There is shrimp inside, so there's very few research done on this. The calcium stays on the outside of the drop, and the drop dries and deposits there the calcium. So all of these are hollow. There's like a straw.
Like here.
So when they start, we call these guys, they call soda straws. You see there is a little hole there, and then they start growing thicker and thicker. Yeah, but sometimes the drop doesn't make it all the way to the bottom. So the drop stays somewhere on the side by, the forces of the water, like water tension and.
Well, we're done with the first cave, and then now Alejandro's gonna take us to the second cave, which we're gonna go swimming in it.
Nice.
Right.
Some snorkeling.
Some snorkeling in a cave.
Underwater snorkeling in a dark
Underwater
cave.
cave. Nice.
Let's rock and roll.
Whew. It was hot in there.
To drop the camera or?
No, I think it's okay. Towards sea level.
Yeah, we're gonna have to climb down.
We're here.
Cave number 2.
Cave
Excited?
número 2.
This is the entrance, and it's also the only entrance, but there's a few more, but you really need to
Work your way.
Yeah, work your way. And then we're gonna go down about, I would say maybe 60 feet or so, not even 60 feet. Once we get there, we're gonna reach the water.
The only thing more exciting than walking around in underground caves is to swim and dive in underwater caves.
It's cool. Alright, so this is water. We made it to the water.
Yeah, we made it to the water. We're actually in the middle of a crack in the ground. This is what it is. And of course it's another collapse, so the collapse actually gave us access to the cave. Yeah. Also rainwater comes and then fills up the rest. So you have two types of water here. In the bottom you have the water from the ocean, which is salt water, and then on the top you have a layer of fresh water. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna enter the water either here or there, and we're gonna actually follow this crack, not this way, but that way.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a little tunnel right there. We're gonna pass that tunnel, and as soon as we pass, it's gonna open up in another chamber.
Salt water is more dense than fresh water, and so light rays are diffracted when they pass through the line where the two meet. This is known as a halocline. This can give rise to a range of unusual visual effects. Swimming motions will stir up the salt and fresh water like salad oil and vinegar. Combine the reduced visibility with the knowledge that they never knew where the next air pocket was, and this added a whole element of danger to what they were doing.
Well, guys, how was that?
It was great. It was awesome. So awesome. It's the first time that I free dive inside a cave.
Really?
Yeah.
That was amazing.
That was amazing.
Dan and Kika meet a new friend. His name is Jimmy. Jimmy was about to take them onto some new adventures.
Where are we going?
We're going to go watch what do you say?
Crabs having sex.
Glow in the dark crabs having sex.
Glow in the dark crab sex.
Ostracods.
Ostracod.
So it's crustaceans. And when they make love,
They glow.
they glow. Glow in the dark crustacean semen.
And they
Like
have
honestly,
glow.
that's what we're doing. We're not trying to make a joke.
Searching for mating crustaceans was an exciting prospect for Dan and Kika. However, there seemed to be an element of voyeurism in it that made them uneasy, questioning the moral ethics of spying on animals while they engage in activities which may require privacy.
Alright, so we are in the ocean, cruising with the motion, but their bioluminescence are already cool, but then right underneath, right above the reefs, the little shrimps that are having sex are glowing, and it's amazing. It's not something that the GoPro can see, so you guys will have to experience it for yourself.
No.
Welcome.
I can't believe. Look, I'm dreaming. This is no Uma, man. Uma, hello, Uma. Hello.
After an action-filled day, it was time to come back to the boat with all the friends, and Kika introduced them to the chalkboard, where they were required to write or draw anything they desired.
Amazing drawings.
Oh yeah, everyone's an artist when it comes to chalk.
Oh yeah.
Nice. That's a fantastic piece of art, I must admit.
Does it look like the ostracod? Yeah. Guys, this one, you can look it up. Ostracods. Maybe if you're in the Caribbean somewhere else, you can try it. 45 minutes after the sunset.
Good.
Yeah.
That's gonna be good. Let me go check it.
Alright, good morning guys. Today we are leaving Bonaire and we are sailing to Curacao. It's a lovely sunny day here. The wind's a little light but should fill up in a few, and it should be a nice 4 or 5 hour sail, right?
Yeah, fine.
We're a little sad to leave so early because there's so much that we did, but there's so much that we didn't do as well. We met amazing people, and by the way, Bonaire is worldwide known for its diving, and the funny story is we didn't even go diving when we were here. So we went free diving though. Alright guys, today we are sailing about 40 miles from Bonaire to where we want to anchor in Curacao. We have found 3 potential anchorages. Right now it says we're gonna get there at 8 o'clock, so we don't really want to get in there at night, but so far it's been a very slow sail. Dennis is asleep down below. It's hot and we're cruising at 3.5 knots, so at least we're moving forward. Yeah, as you can tell, Squeaky is working right now. I don't know for how long, but it's working. Knock on wood. Bye.
Well, we just made our final turn to sail on the leeward side of Curacao, and we've been sailing a little bit slow, so I think we're going to pick the closest bay, which is just south of Spanish waters. It's going to be a little bit easier to sail into, and we should be there right in time to watch the sunset, so that's going to be nice.
Conditions were favorable for the pleasant sail over to Curacao. The original estimated time of arrival was 8 p.m. However, Dan and Kika made it by 4:30 p.m., which made it nice to be able to arrive well in daylight hours. The harbor they chose was a very secluded one and provided safe harbor for their boat for the night. With the anchor down, it was time to relax this evening, thinking about the new adventures that lie ahead. With every new island come new people, new friends, new experiences, some exciting, some dangerous, as we may see in the near future, an example of a boat grounding. Rocks and boats do not mix well. We'll see that in the next episode. Until then, this is Mike Cici signing off, enjoying the narration of this fine video, hoping you guys enjoy the adventures of sailing Uma. Over and out.
Yeah!
Yeah? Does that make any sense? I don't know.
Hey guys, so present update. Our live chat is coming soon. It's this Saturday, November 4th of 2017, unlike what I said previously on the other episode. So yeah, it's this Saturday, so hope you guys are coming. We're going to have it at 1 o'clock. Oh, I'm sure you're wondering why I have a flute in my left hand and a machete in my right hand. Today is November 1st, and it's been exactly a year since my mom passed away. And when my mom was around, one of the things that she used to do, every celebration that she would go to or she would host, she would accidentally break a glass. It wasn't something she would try to do or try to do on purpose. It just happened. And by the end of the night, we would have at least one broken glass in the house. So it's a tradition that I'm trying to keep alive. So I've asked my family and my mom's close friends to join with me and break a champagne glass or any glass that they have on hand that they don't mind losing, just in her memory and just for her. So this is for my mom. Ready?